They, I think, want to start to monetize the money that you spend on public transportation. Do I want an Uber ride-sharing car? Now it could also be take the subway, take the bus, and you just pay for that all out of the Uber wallet. How are we continuing to disrupt? How are we continuing to make waves? How are we continuing to evolve and innovate on our business model? I actively see Uber trying things. I don't see or hear of Lyft of doing any of these things.
Uber just continues to chug along. They bought this public transportation company called Routematch. Seems like a relatively small acquisition for them, but basically they provide software to public transit agencies. And the thing that I thought was interesting about this is we've also seen Waze do this, where Waze is like a more articulate version of Google Maps. They drain your battery a lot more than Google Maps, but they also provide a lot more user-generated data. So, as a user, you get points for flagging certain things like accidents or hazards on the side of the road, or, police having speed traps. Although I think the police are preoccupied with other things these days. Waze has a lot more of this granular information. They get a lot more accurate GPS readings. If I'm really in a traffic jam, I'll hop on over to Waze. As I like their kind of traffic planning and that data a little bit better than Google Maps. There is an integration because, when Google bought Waze, it was funny. It was like $1 billion acquisition. And their reason for buying it was basically, we don't want anyone else to have this. So we bought it. $1 billion. That was quite literally the press release. Maybe not word for word. That was pretty much their messaging around it, though. And they're like, don't worry, it's kind of a inconsequential price for us. $1 billion, whatever. Anyway, what Waze has started to do is have a more integrated solution with transit departments and with these kind of local municipalities, transit agencies. So makes sense. You're seeing now Uber follow a similar path there. I think it's a great way also for Uber to engender support from these government entities and say, hey, how can we help you? How can we help bring software to you? I can guarantee you that Routematch, this was a private business founded in 2000. There's no public information on them raising external capital. So that means it had to be a profitable company. What will Uber do to Routematch now that they own it? What they will probably do is lower the price of its software and try to get a lot more adoption of the software by subsidizing the cost of the software, right? And that is pretty much it's a very classic 101, platform 101 strategy. It's called commoditize the complement, basically saying you buy technology and then you give it away for free, or you heavily subsidize the price or the cost of that software for your users. You lower the barrier to entry, so you get more adoption and more usage on your platform, and you're monetizing the usage on the platform. So now Uber isn't necessarily trying to, monetize the usage of the public transit agencies, but what they want to do is I think, want to start to monetize the money that you spend on public transportation. So what does that mean? Like buying a metro pass in the subway, or the bus passes to take either your bus transportation, your subway, or train transportation. These are all government run transportation entities. So now if Uber is providing software into these agencies, Routematch has partnerships with over 500 public transportation agencies. They should be able to have a much tighter collaboration to help consumers choose, do I want an Uber ride-sharing car? Now they have, the scooters, the e-scooters. Now it could also be take the subway, take the bus, and you just pay for that all out of the Uber wallet. We've seen Uber make a big push into Uber wallets, right? Where there's now an Uber credit card. You can store a balance in the Uber wallet. You can use that wallet for transportation and Uber Eats. Again, you're just kind of seeing the breadth and the power and the scale of the platform conglomerate versus Lyft. I don't see or hear of Lyft of doing any of these things. I don't really hear much about Lyft anymore. Lyft is around, but in terms of saying, hey, how are we continuing to disrupt? How are we continuing to make waves? How are we continuing to evolve and innovate on our business model? I actively see Uber trying things, and some things aren't working, right? Like trying to buy Grubhub. But they're trying. And they're in an easier position in the sense that they're the dominant ride-sharing company compared to Lyft. But that goes back to my point on the power of the platform conglomerate versus these platform companies that have just one platform business. And that's what everything is based upon, right? It's kind of like these single-digit billion-dollar market cap platform companies. Are they able to really break out and then start to diversify and have a couple different platform businesses stack on top of each other? It's very hard to make that leap from kind of individual platform entity, which is a great business. And if you're the founder of that business, my hat is off to you. You've created huge value, huge wealth for yourself and many others, right? I mean, it's no small feat. But from a, from a Platt perspective, the platform ETF with Wisdom Tree, or just looking at, that broader trajectory once you hit IPO, which one of these platform companies do you want to bet on? I think you start to see a very different profile of business, platform conglomerate versus individual platform. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.